the crack of a crisp Diet Coke. We are so back. We are so back, baby. Oh, I could not be happier to be sitting here in a new studio. This is like a new setup. Behind me are a slew of iconic magazines. It's an exhibition, if you will. There are 4 very white women, Emma Roberts, Blake Lively, Kristen Stewart, and Amanda Seyfried on a Vanity Fair cover titled, what is it, The New Wave? Yeah, New Wave, with, of course, a dedicated feature to the Hamptons. They're wearing like white pantalones and crisp white shirts. It's 2008. What are you going to do? And speaking of like the recession, Justin Bieber in the early 2010s is covered in kisses in all twink glory, covered in red lipstick kisses, and the boy's probably like 15 on this other Vanity Fair cover. I mean, I found these on eBay. They came cheaper than you'd expect, actually. Pretty cheap. And I just was like really fascinated to see A, what people were holding on to, and B, the creative. Like, you'd be surprised. We've also got Megan Thee Stallion up here. It was a magazine that I wrote an article in. We've got Kendrick and Rolling Stone, and then an iconic Britney Spears 2000 Rolling Stone, which was really weird to read. It was my biggest get. It was my most expensive. I think I spent like $30 on that one. And it was the most interesting. There were ads for, do you remember Groovy Chick? Hang on, I'm getting this mic under control because we're starting on the right foot. Fabulous. Oh, that feels right. This is a new era for Uncover Girl. Honestly, I'm so excited for it. It actually does feel like a maturation, a new introduction. If you haven't been keeping up with the Patreon or following along on Instagram, Ivana has left. She's on to a kind of a new chapter. She's actually off Instagram, which I tip my hat to. I don't know how she's doing it because there's a lot of astrological content on there at the moment, which is fueling me in a way that is probably concerning. And she has started a new job, and she may have a big move in her future to another city out of Los Angeles. And for that reason, it just felt like kind of a perfect coalescence of all these things at once. We had been doing this together for 2 years, and I think it's like, someone told me once that 2 years of anything, if you get to kind of like the 2-year hump, that's when you either double down or leave the table. I found that to be really true in relationships. You get this 2-year itch where it's like, okay, I think we've got to call it. If you want a kind of a deeper explanation, we have been doing bonus episodes on the Patreon together throughout the entire summer. And so you can go back and listen to those, and her beautiful farewell note, and that it's all there. I'm also continuing to do bonus episodes every Friday. So you'll get an extra episode every week. And that's just like truly talking shit. We did talk about Ivana and I sunsetting the show. She was leaving, and it was like, fuck, I don't really know how I can do this without you, dude. Like, she is whip smart and so funny, so witty. Also, our chemistry felt irreplaceable. So she said to me, you're welcome to go on and get a new co-host. Like, that's fine. Or we could, I guess we could, do a few more episodes and kind of close it out. And I ultimately said, you know what? Like, I don't want to see it end, but at the same time, I don't want to replace you. And so where we're at now is a rotating cast of co-hosts. Like, I'm not going to call them guests because I think that's doing them a disservice. They're doing too much work to be guests. They're going to come in with a celebrity of their choice, with a profile that they've chosen. I'm not assigning. They're coming in, doing all their own kind of homework, presenting with me and to me, and we're talking through pop culture canon of their choice, basically. And so, I mean, it really does feel like a natural evolution of Uncover Girl. And yeah, it's growing up. It's growing up. I mean, if you couldn't already tell from our art, which started off as like 2 children on a magazine cover, like two little puppets, and is now like a sexy woman, semi-nude, with a magazine clasp across her breasts, both by the extremely talented artist Ben Evans, who has been an Argo from the very beginning. But it's very that we've gone through middle school and high school, and now we're off to college, and that's what it feels like. Coming on every week will be people in entertainment, comedians, actors, writers, producers, you name it, the industry experts we were having before, so journalists and editors, and then I'm like friends and family and uggos and fans, and that it's just going to be a real mixed bag in a way that I'm so excited for, because it's kind of funny what you get from people who this isn't their job, or they're not even industry adjacent, or they've never read a profile really in their lives, but all they want to do is talk about Wilma Vanderrama. That name came from the deep recesses of my brain. Maybe it was because Demi Lovato is like back in a big way, popping up at Jonas Brothers concert. So, oh God, I don't think I can say any of that, because did she accuse him of grooming her? Oh God, this is not a good start. Okay. I think I chose the most problematic man to just pop up, but this is not without it being daunting, right? Like, I was really worried about whether or not I would be entertaining enough, charismatic enough, whether I would be able to carry this on my own. I did meet an Uggo recently who is very obviously like, Ivana is my favorite and I ride for her. And I was like, for sure, absolutely. So that was all a concern for me. And now after kind of recording a couple of episodes and testing out the format, and there's a new segment involved, I'm just kind of like, damn, this is sick and this is really fun. And I know that the Uggos will love this, because this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy listening to. And at the end of the day, I think you just have to kind of make stuff that you like and that you would like if you didn't make it. It's kind of that simple. So there will also be an occasional solo episode every now and again, just to kind of mix it up. And I did want to come back with a solo. I was like, this is the way to kind of ease people in, not just throw them to the wolves with a brand new person and be like, surprise, we're doing guests, we're bringing in co-hosts. But then the Travis Kelce profile dropped, and I thought, wow, that really just throws my Sydney Sweeney solo episode right out the window. It just blows it straight out of the water, hovercraft style, by Travis Kelce in Miami for GQ. And so I turned to Mr. Chris, the man I share a home with, and I said, hey, do you want to come on as the kind of token straight man in my life and talk about possibly the straightest man in America, Travis Kelce? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And so that is our premiere episode of the season today. We have Chris Luttrell. He's just so funny. He was really, really nervous. So bear with him, because when he gets kind of like quiet is when he's nervous. It's not going to feel like the bang, bang, bada boom of talking of Ivana. But I think it's just like so special and hilarious to have that diversity, and is, I guess, kind of a peek behind the curtain of our relationship as well. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to hear his take on Travis and Taylor's relationship. Honestly, the sports perspective was much needed. I learned a lot. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm like excited to get this kicked off. It's going to be really, really fun. And I cannot thank you enough for coming along for the ride. If you need any more kind of backstory, again, you can always subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/uncovergirl. But in the meantime, let's get under the covers, baby, with my husband/boyfriend, structural engineer, NFL fan, Chris Luttrell.
What took you so long?
To what, to have you?
Yeah.
Well, you've never expressed interest.
I mean, I've been like throwing subtle hints,
In which direction?
I mean, at your direction.
Guest or as a co-host?
No, as a guest.
Well,
I have a lot of opinions on things, as you know.
You're not particularly well versed in pop culture. I feel like this is not your demographic.
No, but I can throw uneducated opinions out there as good as anyone.
Well, then you are qualified for a podcast. Congratulations.
As good as any other straight white man.
Do you
in the ether right now
prefer boyfriend, partner, spouse? What speaks to you on this? I mean, technically we're married, spiritually.
Or it's authentic, not legitimate? No,
our marriage is legitimate.
It's legitimate, but we're not calling ourselves married.
No. Well, there's been no proposal, obviously.
Yes.
So spiritually, we're not married.
Okay, well, we can say that. I like spouse in the formal sense.
I don't like spouse at all. In what context are you using spouse?
Like, my spouse is about to arrive.
To whom are you saying? To whom are you referring to me as spouse?
I just feel like once you get past a certain age,
You're 32.
I know.
Let's like pump the brakes.
Girlfriend it just sounds so juvenile to me.
I love girlfriend. I think boyfriend is very chic. I love to say.
I think boyfriend is more chic than girlfriend.
Saying boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should be gay. If that's what you prefer.
I'll trade you in for a twink.
I mean, I've been waiting for that day. God, I'm wrestling with these mics in a way that is like,
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's so problematic. We're in a new setup. We're in a new studio. This is a new era for Uncover Girl. So it's like, it's all happening. We're figuring out the kinks in real time.
Yeah.
Can you tilt it a little bit more towards your mouth, actually? Yeah, like that. I like your voice.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do have such a strong New Zealand accent, actually.
I know.
I think it's much stronger than me.
It has faded though, slightly. Like if I go home, I do notice the difference between like what I sound like and what everyone else does.
Well, when we first met, it was your claim to fame. It was your whole thing. It was your bit. It was your appeal.
Well, Lord knows I didn't dress well. So without that, I mean, what else would I have?
Well, no, it was Skinny Jeans City, wasn't it?
Oh, it was awful.
It
wasn't
was. I mean, those skinny jeans were painted on. It was stovepipe.
The whole thing was like, can you see your calf muscles through your jeans? And if you could, that was a sign of a good gene.
But was that actually articulated, or was that just implicit?
Well, it was implicit for some reason. Like us boys thought that was the look.
Well, it was that, and there was also like a fuckboy fade component that was happening. It was very tight on the sides. Yeah. It was a full quiff.
It was the quiff. It wasn't the fade that was the problem. It was the quiff.
How did you style that? Were you using a blow dryer?
No, God no. No, it
what
was
would
just.
You do?
I would just come out the shower and like when you quiff your hair every day for like years, your hair just falls that way. You throw a little bit of product in there and
just to get the volume going.
Yeah, well, just to get a bit of longevity out of the quiff,
It didn't do a lot for your forehead. I
no,
remember.
It was awful. I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
It extended it kind of into the heavens.
I'm kind of insulted that none of my friends told me, like, pull me aside.
Because they all had it, Chris.
Wow.
When we met, and maybe you should tell the story.
Of how we met?
Mm-hmm.
So we met in one of the only straight bars in West Hollywood, and I remember you introducing yourself to me.
I didn't introduce myself to you.
Well, you were introduced.
I was introduced by my friend Angus.
But as you said, as you introduced yourself through that introduction, I remember hearing your accent, and you've been like, where are you from? And then you said, I'm from New Zealand. And I said, no, you're not.
You said, no, you're not. I'm from New Zealand.
Yes, because I distinctly remember your accent was so transatlantic.
Herein lies the early, I mean, it's rearing its head early on like the Loch Ness Monster. Chris is a textbook contrarian. And the fact that he was debating me on my own, nationality, my own origin country, without even knowing, just from the jump.
But I was so used to like a more traditional sounding New Zealander.
The difference between me and you is that I felt like the way to move to a new country was to kind of like adapt. You were like, the way to move to a new country is to stand out, and that gets me across the line and into the bedrooms of California girls across the state.
It wasn't that, but per se. But I think a point of difference is important, don't you think?
Well, I wanted to be understood, but I do.
You don't think you could be understood with your natural accent?
Oh, certainly not. Even now, sometimes I speak a bit fast, and people go, "What?" I was in an interview the other day and I said, like, what's your stance on blue cheese? And Sydney Carlson goes, what?
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here today, honestly.
It's such an honor. I'm so happy to be here.
First question, what do you love about me?
What's my best qualities?
No, I want to know what's inspiring you.
Oh, so last weekend when we were in Palm Springs, a well-known mecca for gay men across the spectrum.
What do you mean across the spectrum?
Well, there's the,
across the age spectrum or across the mental health spectrum?
Across like the animal spectrum, right?
The animal kingdom is what you're referring to?
Yeah.
The bears, the otters.
The panda bears,
Chris.
the grizzly bears.
I fear we won't even make it halfway through the season if we talk like this.
And I remember thinking in that moment, is there anything more delightful than an elderly gay couple? They're just so nice and fun and energetic, and in a very bleak world, I feel like when you run into an elderly gay couple in the wild, it's just a real warming experience.
I wonder your take on it, but I think it's kind of like what they've overcome. They've seen a lot of their friends die in the AIDS crisis. They've experienced intense marginalization. I mean, the constant threat of physical violence, like growing up in the 80s or 90s.
They're survivors of so many different waves of threats to the community, right? I mean, coming from like, obviously there's HIV, and then there's the political attacks, there's the cultural attacks, there's the bullying as children. I mean, and then to come out as a mature person and to be that positive and uplifting.
No, it's like radical joy.
Yeah.
I do remember very specifically walking down the street and seeing two gays, one with an eye patch.
I forgot about that.
I couldn't resist a little, mi homos.
Can we say homos anymore? I don't know if we can.
I think I can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No, you can't. You have to have years entrenched in the queer community.
I don't have those miles on me. At the
No.
moment.
I'm like an old Buick at this point. I had to weigh in on a bandana today. That's how many miles I've got on me. Can I pull off this bandana? And then I said,
who asked you that?
Connor. And then I said, no, you can't. The bandana is tied too thin. It was tied like, in 2000.
What, are you talking about, like across his head or across around his neck?
No, across his head. And it was tied like, in 2006 when girls used to like pop out with the braided elastic headbands.
I do, yes.
That's how thin he had rolled up that bandana and put it around his head. And I said, no, the bandana needs to go over your head. And that is the look right now. And he goes, send inspo. And I sent many a TikTok tutorial of men with similar physiques as Connor tying these bandanas before the gym. And
I have seen a lot of that recently.
Yeah, it looks hot, I can't lie.
Yeah.
And then he replied, my head's too big for that. And I said, your head is too big for that skinny little cotton snake.
He says just get a bigger bandana.
I don't know if they're really...
Oh, they just come in one size.
Yeah, I think they're kind of one size fits
all. So what did he roll it up like a snake and then rolled it in?
Yes, he rolled it up like a little crepe.
Only you would say crepe.
Like a Nutella
you could
crepe.
You could have said newspaper. You could have said burrito, but you said crepe.
I'm a dessert person. What am I going to say?
Yeah. Do I get to ask you what's inspiring you?
You can absolutely ask me what's inspiring me.
What's inspiring you today, Beatrice?
I've just I'm so incredibly late to this trend, but I just came across the gingers are black people. Have you seen this?
Tell me.
I guess a few months ago, someone made a really viral video. I think it was a black woman, said, gingers are black people. They are pigmented white people. You trying to burp away from the microphone right now is like the most distracting thing in the world. I won't lie to you. I should never have cracked that LaCroix for you. My God. And then what started is this, really lighthearted, playful bit turned into a lot of natural redheads reacting on TikTok being like, this was so meaningful to me. This was so special to me. I'm getting like emotional even now talking about it.
I can tell.
I like this, meant so much to me to be like seen and understood and recognized for like how hard it was to grow up. Then the black people started reacting to the redheads and being like, you're one of us, you're among us. And so I couldn't help myself. And I made a TikTok and I described my experiences growing up with red hair. And now I know, like, I have to say this, like, full disclaimer, my hair at this point in my life is something that I get the most compliments on. I think a lot of people would agree it's probably my best feature. I probably would say so as well.
Have you talked about like the experience growing up in New Zealand with your hair color on the pod before? Have you?
I don't know how in depth.
When we talk about it to Americans, they're always shocked at the extent of the abuse.
Yeah, Australians and New Zealanders absolutely get it. I think for the Brits, it's similar. Like the
Brits is definitely similar.
Yeah, definitely similar. But for me, it wasn't extremely chill. I was always walking down the street and guys were like yelling outside of their car. They would yell "ranga," short for orangutan. Yeah. And
a horrendous slur.
it kind of was a slur.
I mean, it is a slur.
It is
straight
a slur,
up.
yeah.
It is a slur.
And then ginga, which was like ginger, but the slur version of that. And what was particularly gnarly about New Zealand is that I guess colloquially, there was a national like Kika Day implemented, and then the popular radio station, which I cannot emphasize this enough, for the pre-digital gen Spotify.
It was
crew.
huge. Everyone
listened to it. It was monoculturistic. Everyone listened to it.
Do you know, the funny thing is people still are really into radio in New Zealand.
This radio station in particular was so popular. It was the cool radio stations where everyone listened to. And they tried to put a positive spin on Kika Ginga Day and make it Hugga Ginga Day. And that really took off. Everyone was coming up and hugging me without my consent, to the point that the following year I stayed homesick. And then I remember this as clear as day, Chris. I was home faking sick, doing my best acting job, and my mum came in, put her arms around me and said, your sister just texted me at university, mind you. My sister was at university. And she said, it's National Hugs Day and that I should hug you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
I didn't even
no.
escape
So your
it.
sister fucked you?
Yeah, I didn't even escape it in my own home.
Oh my God.
And I came in the next day, of course, like all the other redheads had also.
I mean, I was a part of the problem too. I mean, me and my friends would like go hunting the school for
Hunting?
Yeah, it was like a pack of wolves, you know, looking for like the little lamb that's like trying to escape the hugs.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would hunt out the redheads?
Yeah, it was a thing, man. It was a real thing.
Chris,
I mean, these poor kids. Yeah.
That is so bad.
Oh, dude, I'm not proud of it.
School dances used to be a real pain point and like a fear for me because I was like, well, no one's going to ask me because I have red hair. Most kids feel like that because I don't know, they have braces or whatever. I was actively validated in those assumptions because I would overhear guys say like, yeah, like I would never date Beatrice because she's a ranger. There were lots of things. And even as an adult, I mean, you remember when you brought me home for the first time to meet your friends?
Yeah, one of my friends was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to end up with a ginger, Chris. And I'm like...
I think he said ranger.
You know, I forgot that the prejudice still existed in New Zealand because it's not really...
I mean, dude, I also remember going home and meeting my friend's like new partner, my friend's new boyfriend for the first time. Again, another New Zealand born and raised, like red-blooded male type. He was like, oh yeah, like I was talking about you to a mutual friend, and I was like, you know, Beatrice, the ginger. And then my friend Lily goes, well, you can't say that. Like you can't use the word ginger. And he was like, oh, I thought ginger was like the politically correct one. I thought you couldn't say redhead. And I was like, why are we debating like
why are we talking about this
the
at length?
political acceptability of like what to call red hair? It's so insane. So that's all to say that I posted a TikTok. Chris, the comments, I mean, people just being like, hi cousin.
How do you feel about famous women dyeing their hair your color?
I just always balk a little bit. It's when they dye their hair my exact shade is when it feels different. I'm like, fuck. Like that is really wild to see my exact shade of red because I'm like, you could have gone any which way. And I do feel like that, honestly, even seeing like friends or acquaintances just kind of debut a red hair. I need to get over it because it's like a mental illness and I have no claim over it.
I mean, there was a period, like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, where like a lot of famous people were dying there.
Yeah,
you know,
it was
a real moment, eh?
You know, I wrote an article about it. And I think the guys didn't care, but the women all felt similarly. It was quite an interesting, like almost unanimous like response, which was you kind of have to earn it through the hardships. Like it's sick now. People are going to come up to you all the time now. It's well represented in media, but you just have to go through the hard times.
There's a level of trauma associated with the hair color that you need to have to understand.
But talking about someone who freaking loves the color red, I gotta say.
That's why you're in this business.
That's why they pay me nothing. It is the Mr. Taylor Swift that we're discussing today. Travis Kelce, Super Bowl champion.
3 times.
NFL tight end, Kansas City Chiefs player.
Well done.
A man that you're familiar with.
I am familiar with.
More so than me. And that's why you're here.
And that's why I'm here.
And we're happy to have you.
We need the non-creative straight to give you a good opinion of this man.
Exactly. And we're pleased to have you. And you also do have opinions because when the shoot dropped, you were ready to talk.
Okay. Is this what we're going to start with?
Oh my God. Yeah. The way you just settled in.
But I got to pull up these photos.
Yeah,
because
pull up the photos.
There is so much to say.
Here's the thing. He's a very handsome man. He's 6'5".
Yeah.
He's got a great physique. He's got actually a beautiful face.
He's got really pretty eyes, don't you think?
Beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
Beautiful eyes. He doesn't look unattractive.
No.
In any photo, he doesn't look unattractive. He is also on yin to the yang, so unashamedly cringe. And that is what these photos are. They're shot by Ryan McGinley, who has shot some of the most beautiful GQ covers of all time. If you remember that shoot of Brad Pitt, he's just like out in the wilderness.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
cool.
The fact that you know that, you said that's cool. I mean, this is clearly, I think, what they were going for here. It was like Florida man versus nature in a fur etro hat type of situation. But this cover where he is just Jan 6 Capitol Rioter coded.
Yeah, the headdress, it's one of those items of clothing that you kind of, I don't know if you can wear anymore because it's just been associated with this one moment in time.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Hitler moustache, you know, you can't do it.
Oh, I don't think we dropped the H word on our Premiere app. That would be absolutely fabulous in this climate. Thank you so much. But there's also one other element to it, which we haven't discussed, is that he juts out his lower lip. It's clearly like everyone learns how to pose. Everyone kind of learns their angles.
What, like a pout?
He does this pout where it's clearly a squaring of the jaw, but he pops out the lower lip, and it does get, it is a little like childish. And to see it on the cover with the fur hat, it's really not giving in the way it gives in kind of like a long shot in the forest, is it?
So I'm kind of a little confused about what they were trying to do here. I can kind of understand maybe they're, leaning on the grizzly bear kind of thing, this big 6'6" man who's got a hairy chest. Let's put a big furry hat on him and a furry jacket.
Do you like the chest? Do you like his hair?
It suits him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't suit everyone. It suits him.
Okay.
Who is this man? This guy here.
Oh, that's Lana Del Rey's husband. That's why he's in there.
Oh, the tour guy.
Yeah, the alligator tour guy.
Oh, what a fun cameo.
I know. Commenters online were saying, don't bring Lana Del Rey into this. Like, let's leave her out of it.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, he's holding like an oversized Birkin that I know was flown in by Laura Roach's assistant. By the way, this was styled by Laura Roach of Zendaya fame, a man who up until recently said, I'm retiring from styling. I'm an image architect. I'm a consultant. I'm going to take on my celebrity clients and that's it. And so a kind of a return to form with Travis Kelce in this way is pretty shocking. I mean, okay, everything else you can make an argument for, right? You can make an argument for the camo pants with the denim shorts over top. You can make an argument for the 80s coded, Balenciaga jacket with the white belted pants.
No. I disagree. I hate the Balenciaga leather jacket open with the camo pants tucked into a pair of cowboy boots. That is one thing that I just...
Well, yeah, he's in a white cargo pant.
Sorry,
yes.
a white cargo pant.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, through any lens, you can try and make it work, right? You can be like, okay, I see there's some semblance of a vision here. I can kind of imagine what the mood board is saying. For me, when they lose me, it's the reflective construction vest in the water. This is the image I'm referring to.
See, that didn't insult me as much. I don't know why.
Why? What is the reason? What is the vision?
The thing is, with every other photo, there are multiple things to be outraged at. With that, there's just one, the reflective vest.
Vest by Cat Workwear. Necklace, his own.
I wonder if they called up Cat Workwear and said, hey, we want to throw Kelce in a high-vis vest.
There's got to be no... I mean, unless they paid for it. I've never seen so many expensive clothes look so ridiculous. I hate to say it.
Yeah. I think it was a real swing and a miss. But, who am I to say it?
Well, I do have to respect him, the fact that this guy absolutely went with it. Because you got to imagine that at some point he was like,
Sure, but he seems like the type of guy who would have been like, oh, this is sick.
This is sick.
This is sick.
Do you know
the furry hat, the furry jacket, the furry pants.
Do you know what it reminds me of? This is a deep cut, but it's Taylor Swift stepping out in the graphic singlet and the harness and those little suede booties during the 1989 era. Like she was making choices that you thought, I'm uncertain. I'm uncertain, but you love it. And for that, I've got to tip my chimney sweep grandpa cap.
You got to really appreciate people who walk out of their house who think they look sick when maybe they look something less than. But, that confidence, you can see it. You can see it in them. So respect to that. No, and I think he's an example of that. He probably thinks he looks dope.
No, I know he thinks he looks dope. When he's standing knee deep in the Everglades with a $200,000 Birkin and a furry hat, like he's thinking, I'm eating down. So this profile ran in GQ this week. I mean, we're hot off the presses at this point. The headline reads, Travis Kelce on his upcoming season, post-NFL ambitions and life with Taylor Swift. Little bit of backstory. He's coming off a pretty grueling Super Bowl loss, right? They
got smoked.
They got smoked.
Yeah.
And everyone was a little bit happy to see it because they were the hotshot team.
Well, they just won so much and people are sick of the same team winning. And so there was a lot of the country who kind of don't like Philadelphia. Philadelphia is an easy team to hate, but they were like, just not these guys again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit like Patriots coded, like Tom Brady era. Okay, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that puts it in perspective for me, a layman. But Sean Manning, the GQ writer, is sitting in a Miami dining room with Travis Kelce. This is where Travis has been training in the off season, and he is basically like getting into shape in a big way. But his schedule is also insane by the sounds of this. So he's 35 right now, a multimillionaire. And yesterday he shot this entire shoot for 12 hours in the Everglades in Florida. Then he flew home to Kansas for a charity event. Then he flew back for this GQ interview, and then later on in the night, he is about to record a New Heights episode with Jason Kelce. So the man is busy.
I can only imagine how much sleep this man needs. He's my height, and he's actually a professional athlete.
Well, I mean, famously, you need no less than 17 hours a night.
Anywhere between 8.5 to 9.5.
Not 8.5. Do not even insult me with 8.5.
I'm saying sometimes it's 8.5.
No, it's very rarely 8.5.
Let's just, okay. We'll just say let's average 9.
Okay.
Average 9 a night. And I do have a theory that tall men.
You, as long as I've known you, have usually liked to sleep a minimum of 10 hours.
10 is not.
Chris, you go to sleep at 10 p.m., you wake up at 8.
No, I don't.
You go to sleep at 9:30, you wake up at 7:30.
I can sleep for 11 hours a night without even blinking. But I do have a theory that tall men, we're kind of like Great Danes, you know what I mean? Humans aren't meant to be this big. And we just by lugging this big skeleton of mine around, we just require additional rest.
I think the comparison is like greyhounds, because they do their they do their sprint dog races, and then apparently their demeanor is cat-like for the rest of the day. They like curl up in the corner like cats, and I think that
does sound like a bit of me. I do like to curl up.
You do love to you curl up. You sleep fully fetal. You sleep in a little ball, and that is what they do. And then of course their short lifespan.
This is what you committed to.
I know.
I know.
Well, I did think ahead. So he's back in full Super Bowl mindset. I think this has to be his last season, because the way that he's approaching a Super Bowl win, another ring, is just with like a singular focus. Like he wants to go out on a high. I mean, he's saying, I feel like these past 2 years haven't been my standard, and I just have such motivation to show up this year for my guys. He's saying it without saying it, I think.
Well, I just, like I said, I'm not a historian of the sport, but I don't think there's much precedent of someone of his age and his miles. He's been to the finals 5 times, so there's all those additional playoff games. He's played, over 10 seasons. So, will he be playing as a 37-year-old man? It's hard to say that's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like he's not going to come out and say it, but he's it's the implication here for sure. Talk about a delight, to use your word. Travis seems to just be the nicest, loveliest, cutest goddamn boy in town. He has an unapologetic zest for life. His unapologetic zest for life is one of his superpowers. It's a key to his popularity, the sense that he knows what a lucky schmuck he is. He can't believe it any more than you can, and damn if he isn't going to enjoy every second while it lasts. The impression he's given off lately is of unrepressed joy. Squint smiling through his newly long hair in the glare of the paparazzi flashes.
I bet he loves it.
I mean,
I bet he loves
it. The newly long hair is really, that's a stab. That's a snipe in the dark.
I don't think men like this are supposed to have that long coiffed hair.
Well, it's a little bit like he went to Turkey and he pulled out a photo of handsome Shrek and he said, I'll have what he's having. Because honestly, when he did take off that helmet, and he waved it in around. I know.
It's like he took the hair off like a Backstreet Boy, put it on his head.
Just from like an aesthetic perspective, I do think him with a shaved head, with a buzz cut, is doing things.
It looks sick.
It looks great.
Looks sick.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
No, it's like doing something deeply satisfying in a way that, the long kind of like center part.
Yeah. It's a contradiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't working.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's someone who is like always going to wear his heart on his sleeve, always going to follow his whims. He talks about when he got started in the NFL, he was like a diehard fan of the Cleveland Browns and rooted for them shamelessly kind of growing up.
Do you know the lore around the Cleveland Browns?
No, but are they a really bad team?
Horrendous team.
Okay.
I mean, like literal toilets of the NFL.
Okay. Well, that I guess makes sense because the head coach of the NFL was so truly shook when he comes into his office and goes, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I would fucking do anything to play for the Cleveland Browns. And he just looked at me like I was insane. And that just seems to be like very Travis Kelce. I mean, the Browns passed on him. He ended up not getting picked until the 3rd round of the 2013 draft when he was then selected by the Chiefs. And when Patrick Mahomes came on, that seemed to be the match made in heaven. Yeah. You've said to me before, Travis is the player he is because of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so because there are so many players on an NFL team, it's very hard for one single player to elevate a team like a LeBron would or a Michael Jordan would. You know, when you get paired with a Patrick Mahomes, which at the end of his career, we might be talking about him in the same vein as a Tom Brady, which is crazy to say, but we might be. Andy Reid, who's the coach, who is one of the best coaches in history, having that combination on your side just gives you so much more room to grow and to succeed. It's hard to know whether we would be talking about Travis Kelce without those two.
Right. I mean, yeah, if you can compare him to, I guess, like another athlete in time.
That's a good question.
So Patrick Mahomes is like, could we say a Michael Jordan or like a...
So let's just say is a Steph Curry, a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So I would say a Travis Kelce would be a Scottie Pippen or a Dwayne Wade or a Klay Thompson. Like a really A plus second fiddle. But like, do they win without Scottie Pippen? I mean, Michael might.
Yeah.
LeBron clearly did. Steph Curry maybe could, probably wouldn't. But they are the engine to the centerpiece. You know what I mean?
You know what's so funny about the latter two names that you just mentioned is that they obviously went on to, marry or be in relationships with some of the most famous women of all time.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion with Klay Thompson and Gabrielle Union with Dwayne Wade. And it's interesting to see that, like, I probably know those names purely off the strength of their relationships with women in pop culture.
So can I take control of the pod for a second?
Oh my God.
One thing that they love to do in sports media is create lists or tiers. So I have for you the top 5, in my opinion, famous celebrity couples where the man is an athlete. Okay?
Chrissy,
so here's what I know.
You did research.
I did research.
You
I did some research.
I
know. Why do you think I have this enormous laptop next to me?
No, I'm so impressed. Please carry on.
So here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to list 5 names.
Okay, just out of order.
Yeah, out of order.
Okay.
You're going to rank all of them.
Wait, do I have to match your personal ranking?
No. Okay. So Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they've got to be on there.
So I'm putting them on there for the time being.
So these are sports entertainment couples.
Sports entertainment couples.
Gotcha.
Victoria and David Beckham, of course.
Of course.
Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Funny you mentioned them before, but I think needs to be on this list. Tom Brady and Giselle. And I have A-Rod and J-Lo for my last spot on that top 5.
Interesting.
So we're going to start at 5 to 1. How would you rank them?
Baby, in this house, it's out with the old, in with the new me. You thought we were done with new me hair? Never. Actually, no, for real. Someone came up to me the other day and was like, are you using new me the way that you say you are? I don't know how to emphasize this enough. Anytime that you see me, my hair has been done with some type of new me tool or product. I use the straightener every time I do my hair. I use the blow dryer. And recently they just sent me the blow dryer brush. Freaking like game changing. If you're like a blowout person or you just want to kind of like smooth your hair and have that kind of one step process, it has this infrared heat technology, same as the straightener, by the way, where it seals in the hair cuticle and reduces hair damage, basically like locking in moisture. It's very, very good. And I am someone who has been gifted by a very popular vacuum cleaner brand. You know the one. And it is right on par with that. And it's half the price. Penelope, chill out. Ironically, she's playing with her hair tie. Penelope, stop it. It's super light, so your arm never gets tired, your hand never gets sore, your hair comes out shinier than ever, and you can take off 15% with the code UNCOVER at newmehair.com. That's NUME hair. Listen to me. I love new me, and I'm going to love the new you even more. I think my number 5 is A-Rod and J-Lo. A-Rod, famous philanderer. And he actually ended up cheating with Madison LaCroix. Is it LaCroix? Let me just no, it's not LaCroix. Is it Leroy?
LaCroix like the drink?
Yeah, no, it is LaCroix.
It is?
Madison LaCroix from Southern Charm. For any Bravo fans out there, that is
the blonde girl?
Yeah, that's who he flew out to Miami and cheated on J-Lo with.
That's a wild person to cheat on J-Lo with.
Yeah, it was like a really
Bravo
rogue.
Star.
Yes, exactly. But that was what he was doing, is cheating with influencers and so forth. So I think that...
How has he fallen?
I know, he's fallen so... I mean, he fumbled the bag with that one in such a big way.
Oh, God.
But that's for sure my number 5. I think number 4 is really tough.
This is tough.
I think it's Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, only because I'm not that familiar with Dwayne, and Gabrielle is a little before my time, even though, yeah, for sure, I watched Bring It On, I watched She's All That.
I think Gabrielle Union is more my time. Bad Boys.
Number 3 for sure is I mean, it has to be like Giselle and Tom.
Yep.
Obviously, they didn't make it, but the whitest rows of teeth that anyone's ever seen, stepping out the Met Gala red carpet. I mean, that is burned into my memory.
Yeah.
She has one of the best bodies that I think has ever graced a catwalk. Famously, I think she had to like backdoor it the same way a lot of women with boobs did in fashion, where they had to like start through like the Sports Illustrated Victoria's Secret route, and then
They all did.
yeah,
They all did.
and then just kind of like wedge a boob into the door, Kate Upton style. But yeah, Giselle, my God, unbelievable. So happy she's found love with her karate instructor or whatever, kung fu.
No, what was that? Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, that's right. Okay, I'll put Taylor and Travis at number 2.
Yeah. I mean, number 1 is, it has to be
Posh and Bex.
Posh and Bex.
And you think that's because of the matching outfits?
No, I mean, they were so iconic.
Yeah.
The Spice Girls were the hottest thing since sliced bread. David Beckham was the savior on the English football team.
And also the hottest thing since sliced bread.
And also like an icon in himself outside of football.
I think was still to this day one of the most beautiful men that have ever
Did you prefer the buzz cut or the long locks with David Beckham?
The long locks with the headband.
Really?
Long locks with the headband.
Oh, you love a headband though.
Oh, you could put a man in a headband. That did something, I think, chemically for me when I saw that step out.
There's my list.
Okay, that was a fabulous list. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Beautiful job. Thank you, Chrissy. Really bringing something new. Fresh energy here today.
If you ever need a list, let me know.
Yeah. It's interesting to put Travis and Taylor kind of in this realm, and
I think just because of her,
well,
she's the Michael Jackson of this generation.
What's really funny is like he brings her up here for the first time. I don't know if you know this, created a music festival in Kansas City where
Did he?
Yeah.
What's it called? Do you know what it's called?
I don't know what it's called, but 20,000 people like come out to see like the likes of Diplo and Lil Wayne, who he books for it. Yes.
Oh, that's.
And he is famous, obviously, for his like Viva Las Vegas, bit, for his like you got to fight for the right to party after winning. And he brings her up for the first time here because he says, when you see me hanging at the US Open with Taylor, it may look like the two of us are partying, but I'm just enjoying the fun of being at this really cool event with the person that I love. So he's like, I don't need to be the party guy anymore. And he says, I've become way more strategic in understanding what I am portraying to people.
What surprised me about reading that profile is he's always so conscious about how he's perceived by the public.
Yeah, it seems to be by the public more than anyone else.
Yeah, like there was multiple times in this profile where they kept circling back to like what people think of him.
The writer here says, well then, okay, so how has the media scrutiny impacted you? It's increased exponentially since you started dating Taylor. Do you pay any attention to it? He says you can't block that out. If someone says something they don't like about you, you have to be able to understand how you are portraying yourself for them to say that. I'm a guy who doesn't want anyone to say anything negative about me. Some people don't give a fuck. I'm someone who does care. Part of me, like, part of me feels a little bit guilty for ragging on him for the shoot, because I really want to root for him, and I kind of do root for him.
It goes against the Mamba mentality that we're used to hearing from athletes a little bit, you know?
Fully. This is not someone who's just like, fuck the haters.
Yeah.
Like, watch, I'm going to prove my worth on the field.
Yeah, like, I don't care what people like, I shut up the noise, this is distraction, he's clearly actually like listening to it and is very conscious of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying like, I'm influencing and using my platform for the better, being a role model. It's interesting because I feel like we often hear the opposite from celebrities, like, I'm not a role model, this is not what I signed up for, like, don't look to me for that. And Travis is saying to the contrary, I am a fucking role model, and I'm prepared to be that. I mean, we get into a little bit of like how much of an exceptional athlete he is, which we were obviously bound to do when it comes to a profile of someone who is at the top of their game, quite literally. You said something really interesting to me not long ago where you're like, everything they do is preparing for one specific move. Like, they are not, it's not like they're training to be all-rounders on the field.
No, they're not trained to be like a triathlete, They're trained, like, he's training to run between 10 and 15 miles an hour, stop on a dime, this really precise art form.
And what's interesting about that is that he can go faster, and that is an immediate liability to the team. So he can run up to like 20 miles an hour, but
you can't stop.
But you can't stop.
You need to be able to like change directions really quickly. I mean, I think that's what he is saying that he's focusing on, which I think is so interesting.
It's so interesting. I find this interesting, and I'm not a sports girl. He caught a pass at a Super Bowl 3 years ago, running 19 miles an hour, which was the fastest speed he's ever hit.
I have no concept what 19 miles an hour is for a human to run.
It's crazy because if you think about a treadmill, right?
Yeah.
What is the max a treadmill goes up to?
I have no idea.
It's 12. That's a full out sprint. That's 19 miles an hour.
I mean,
at 6'5" at what, 230 pounds?
Yeah.
That's
at
unbelievable.
at least 230.
Yeah, I wonder how much he weighs. It's funny, Sean, the writer, says, in our conversations, Travis is ambivalent about the meathead jock stereotype he sometimes likes to wear. Because he knows that he's willing to work hard and he has aspirations like beyond sport. He actually credits a lot of that to his mum. And I wanted to ask you about that. My God, he loves his mum in a way that's like a little bit scary.
I think the country loves his mum. I mean, Donna Kelce is like, national treasure at this point.
Yeah, well, she's about to go on the Traders. But
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He references her a lot, and he says he went from he says he watched her go from being in a cubicle to a really nice office in the back, and all of a sudden the offices were getting bigger and bigger, and now she's got a name tag, and that was really like impressive to him. And he compares her actually to Taylor. His whole thing was when he started dating was like, I just want to find someone like my mother. And Sean goes like, okay, well, how are they the same? Like, he was like, their kindness, their genuineness, their ability to say hello to everyone in their room, their ability to show love and support no matter what, and on top of that, their work ethic. Okay, the famous mother-in-law thing is really interesting, or that, the famous daughter-in-law with the mother of the famous son is fascinating to me, because you brought up Posh and Bex before. Have you heard about the Beckham feud?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so there's this big like family feud going on between Brooklyn's wife's family, the Peltzers.
Is Brooklyn's wife, is she famous or known for?
She's a billionaire's daughter who is also kind of like an aspiring actress.
A nepo coupling.
Well, yes, it was kind of that. But I mean, I don't think she has like real entertainment connections, but yeah, she comes from a lot of money in Florida, big compound apparently. But I need your take on this, because the source of the conflict, allegedly, where it stemmed from was their wedding day, Brooklyn and Nicola, when Mark Anthony, Latin singer Mark Anthony
from like the famous Latin songs from like
from
15 years
J-Lo
ago.
Marriage.
Okay.
Mark Anthony.
Okay.
Gets up.
I haven't heard that name in a very long time.
I know. Gets up on stage and is like, the most beautiful woman in the world, please join Brooklyn on the dance floor. Victoria Beckham, where are you?
So who set that up? Was that a Victoria kind of backroom deal, or was this Mark Anthony trying to be funny?
No, there was no joke. It was totally in earnest.
And this was the opening dance.
This was the first dance at the reception. And it was groom, mother of the groom.
It's giving breastfed to 5 kind of vibes.
Oh God.
Whoever's idea that was a pretty bad idea.
Yeah.
It's just also weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's really weird. Even if, as the mother of the groom, why would you want to be up there first?
Yeah.
Why would you want to go up there? Like,
I mean, she seems like a fairly normal person. She should know better, right?
And also, is the tradition that I think the tradition is that the bride and groom go up, and then the opposite parents join them, right? So like, hypothetically, in our wedding in many years to come,
I've only seen this happen at one of the weddings that we went to.
Was that Vanna and Stevens?
Yeah.
I thought that was quite chic.
No, it was lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know what the tradition is.
So at Vanna and Stevens' wedding, Vanna and Steven had their first dance, and then Steven's mother joined him. Vanna's father joined her.
Yeah. Or like a third of the way through the night, there's like a separate, like isolated parents dance. But it always starts with the couple.
I find a lot of like mother-in-law son stuff quite weird.
Mother-in-law son?
Sorry. Mother son. Sometimes when you see like a mother-son dance on the dance floor, you're like, ooh, it's kind of weird.
It seems a lot more uncomfortable to watch than a father-daughter.
Yeah, why is that? I don't know what it is. I think it's just because of like, here's the thing. Women are aging much more gracefully.
No, I don't know. It's not the aging thing. I think it's because like when you ballroom dance, there's always someone who leads. And I think the father leading the daughter is something that's natural, right? That's something he's done his entire life.
Yeah.
But then like the son now leading his mother on
it's a little bit like
the roles are reversed a little bit.
A man and his masculine energy. Yeah, I don't know why it feels slightly off.
No, it does. It's fine, but there is a hint of that.
No, there is a hint. But That I do get the sense from Victoria Beckham that she just loves to be the only woman in the crowd of boys, like me and my boys. Yeah, boy mums are it's touch and go, I think. You can really like go either way with it. And I think the self-awareness is key.
I think if I was a betting man, I would say that this was a Victoria-led scheme that really backfired. Maybe she's not too happy with the bride.
Back to Travis and Taylor. God bless Sean. He's held off for as long as he freaking could.
He got like 80% of the way there. I know, like hats off to him.
Hats off to him. He really made the reader work for it. They got to the very end. And what's so kind of impressive about Travis too is he has no problem talking about Taylor. He's like, let's actually go there.
Or Tay, as he says.
Oh, Tay. Yeah,
he says
that. Tay. You hated it. I know you hated Tay. Yeah. But it's really cute. It's really cute. I mean, I know you watched their entire podcast.
So I listened to about 90 minutes of it, which I think is a pretty good bloody effort.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how comfortable they are with each other. In a way, I don't know what I was expecting to hear, but they sounded like they've been together for 20 years.
Yeah, very. And the way he talks about her, I think is... I mean, I hate to say that it does feel radical, but it kind of does, because like for a man of his stature, not to be even remotely intimidated, but in turn to just be proud without ego is actually remarkable. He says, I get to be a +1. I get to go and be that fan because I am that fan. I'm a fan of the music, and it's so cool that I get to experience her being that +1 for me on the football field, and I feel the same enjoyment every time she comes to my shows. And
I think he's a real fan too.
Yeah, no, he is a fan.
You know, a real fan of Taylor.
He said, and then alternatively, he was like, I got her into football in such a big way. She knows what injury reports look like. She understands what special situations are. All these things because she naturally loves to hear about my job.
So I was listening to Taylor talk about, the X's and O's of football on this pod. And she knows more than I do.
Really?
Like she's talking about defensive coverages.
Yeah, and it's funny. The way he talks about her in this profile, he's not talking about them. He's not talking about them as a couple. Like, we're just so normal and we just love to like take our dog for a walk, which is a lot of how you hear these relationships spoken about. It's almost parental, like it's like a paternal love almost in their way, where he is just like so uniquely, like he's proud.
He's really proud of her.
He's really proud of her. And the way he talks about her is as a total exclusive entity to him. So he was like, I had never experienced having somebody in the same shoes as me, having a partner who understands the scrutiny, but also she may not think of herself as an athlete. She will never tell anyone that she is an athlete, but I have seen what she goes through. I have seen the amount of work that she puts on her body, and it's mind-blowing.
This is, I think, a really understated point, because I mean, I didn't go to the Eras tour, you did.
Yes.
But from what you've told me, it is 3 hours of go, 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 go. She's no
rest.
The conditioning to do something like that must be as intense as playing a football game, running a half marathon while, singing the national anthem over and over again, like it's just, it's unbelievable conditioning.
So what she was known to do was run her entire set out on a treadmill. She would sing 3 hours of music while running on a treadmill. He adds on top of that to go out on stage, she's also on a computer. So anyone that knows the Eras tour has seen her, dive under a stage, or the fact that the screens underneath her feet become a forest. He was like, that football field size computer is so hot. When you take that to Singapore, where it's also scorching, you're feeling the fumes from the computer and the heat from the sun, and you're doing a show for more than 3 hours with a lot of energy. That's arguably more exhausting than what I put in on a Sunday. And she's doing that 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Sean writes, Kelce talks about Swift freely, with a confident adoration of a sturdy relationship and with obvious pride. Not macho pride in having attained the seemingly unattainable, which is interesting that he would say that, because when I did talk to you about how Travis talks about Taylor, you were like, well, yeah, of course it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But he's never talking about her from a place of ownership. Like, she's on my arm, she's the trophy.
I think but it's not even like putting her on a pedestal either, There seems to be an inequality there, but I think the word pride, I think is key in that, don't you think?
It's more than that. It needs like an adjective before the pride, and this is what Sean uses. Selfless pride, immaculate pride, the kind that he, of traditionally Midwestern stock, has been unwilling to express about his own accomplishments when I've raised them. And then Sean goes, I think of Joe DiMaggio, the famous baseball player, and Marilyn Monroe, who he was married to.
Also could have been on my list.
And how when she returned from entertaining the troops in South Korea, everyone's seen those photos, by the way, she was standing in front of like tens of thousands of soldiers. She said, Joe, you have never heard such cheering. And he replied, yes, I have.
Well, I mean, listening to that pod, he was in such awe of what she did during that Eras tour. You know, it was millions of people.
He just never diminishes her like that. Like he would never be like, oh my God, yeah, it kind of reminds me of 2016 when I was against the Eagles. He's never doing that to her. He's like, what you are accomplishing is singularly extraordinary. And I mean, Sean asks, have you learned anything from her about holding a crowd's attention and this kind of stuff? People gravitate to her because of how she performs and how she makes the entire stadium feel that she's in this little room with her. She's so good at mesmerizing everybody and making everyone feel like it's an intimate situation. I think that alone, there's just so much calmness and coolness. She's beautiful. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. She's up there making everyone feel at ease.
How would you think Jake Gyllenhaal would describe the same event?
Is it the one ex-boyfriend that you know?
That's the only one that comes to mind. I'm sure you can tell me a list of them that I would recognize. But like, that's the one when I think of like toxic exes or quote unquote toxic exes. That's who I think of.
Well, it's just funny that you would bring up that particular ex because that's the All Too Well ex. I know you know that song.
I do know that song. I quite like that song.
That song and that era of her music is, not to overuse the word, is dedicated to him in the way that he made her feel so small, right? She was 10 years younger than him. She constantly felt like she wasn't enough, like she wasn't artistic enough, cultured enough, worldly enough.
And felt like he was demeaning her constantly, right?
Yeah,
to kind of have this power over her a little bit.
Maybe it was just that he was like, oh my God, this like, and I've definitely been in situations where I've had like older guys that I've dated who have similarly kind of talked to me like, you stupid little girl, a little bit. And yeah, probably it is an element of like keeping you in your place and similarly being embarrassed by you in front of their friends. Jake Gyllenhaal really was that to her. And it's funny that that would be the one you compare Travis to, because it could not be more.
It couldn't be different, right?
Yeah,
like it would be a completely different quote.
Yes.
Who else? Can you name some others just so I can remember?
Well, there's one that you have stood in line behind for a croissant and a coffee.
Oh, it's Mr. Healy.
Matty Healy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was talking about like the flakiness of a croissant is the way that you can, you know, judge its quality. And I was like, fuck this guy. He's so pretentious. And I was like, I can't stand this guy. And he was standing with Gabriette, yeah.
You said Gabriette is here with a very obnoxious British man. And then I like sent you a photo and I was like, is it Matty Healy? You're like, that's him. Taylor has famously called him the smallest man in the world. He was shorter than me, right? Like what, 5'7"?
Yeah. 8, 5, 7, 5, 8.
Yeah,
like
shorter than me.
Yeah, smaller than you.
All right, we didn't need to say smaller than me.
Shorter.
You're like, he was itsy bitsy, tiny, slender next to you, elephant woman.
Yeah, he was so snatched. Yeah.
I mean, to be 2 years in and to be talking about each other like this, I find that like usually there's a bit of a 2-year itch. There was for us anyway. And it's really special that they are 2 years in and like feeling that like they're doubling down.
Well, the thing is with athletes, you know, they tend to settle down, you know, like athletes have kids in their mid-20s.
Yeah, but they cheat. They cheat.
They do, but not all of them necessarily.
I mean, he calls himself the happiest guy in the fucking world. He's like...
Which I kind of believe, honestly.
And it's interesting because Sean here, and we're at the end, goes, what he's experienced of fame and influence so far just makes him appreciate where he comes from all the more. And Travis goes, there is an easier and a better way of life, a more fun way to live. And I guess that's away from the cameras, but I don't know if anything like that is possible as long as he's with Taylor.
What's going to be interesting is if this relationship stays together, whether the pride is going to be as consistent when he doesn't have the attention of the Super Bowls.
His pride for her.
Yeah, whether there's going to be some resentment that builds, you know.
Like it might be a hit to his ego.
It's the reality of athletes, right? You know, you're the brightest star, right? You're on every TV in America watching the Super Bowl. You're putting on these rings, you know, you're at the top of your game. Then 10 years later, you know, you're an ex-football star who's trying to figure out what to do with the next 40 years of your life.
Yeah. Because they're so young when it all ends.
I mean, he's going to retire before he's 37. You know, that's halfway through your life.
Yeah,
that's under halfway.
Under halfway through your life.
You know.
Yeah, no, I mean that is the big question. At the end of the day, even if this was to be her last album, which it won't be because her favorite number is 13 and we're only at TS 12.
Oh, really? Is that the whole law that she's going to make a 13?
Oh, she will make 20 albums, but like she can't stop working and she will always be this famous. So is he happy being Mr. Taylor Swift for the rest of his life is going to be the big question.
Well, he said in the profile that he loves being a +1. And so long as he loves being a +1, then that's always going to be there for him.
I mean, but he also said he loves having her as a +1.
He also said he loves being the center of attention.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Because you think he would have scored a GQ cover without her?
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a shoot like this. It wouldn't be him on a hovercraft in the ocean in an aviator jacket shot by Ryan McGinley in Miami. Like, no. Yeah. The budget wouldn't be the same. Patrick Mahomes isn't getting this treatment.
I don't even know if Tom Brady got it.
Got this treatment.
Got dressed up in a funny hat and for the cover of GQ.
Yeah, I don't quite know either. I haven't sorted out that profile if so, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting because on the other side of this, I think possibly a darkness settles when there's an uncertainty of what to do with your life.
It's also, since you were a child, right? You've been training for a singular purpose, right? It's not even the attention, it's the lifestyle, right? It's the training, right? I mean, we read earlier how hard he trains.
It's the routine.
It's the routine, right?
Yeah.
And that routine changes, and it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with that identity crisis as Taylor continues to be one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah. We're coming to a new segment for Uncover Girl, my love.
A new segment?
Yeah. So every week we are going to be asking guests a gotcha question. Do you know what gotcha is?
Explain it to me.
The journalist seems to have an ulterior motive and is trying to kind of catch you out.
Okay,
so it's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's usually a question that is a little bit on the provocative side but shake you up a little bit. And our gotcha questions are either going to come from our uggos themselves or a previous guest. In this case, it came from an uggo. My question to you, sir, is what's the last lie you told?
Wow, that's a real gotcha question.
You have to be honest, ironically.
Okay. Okay, so this is actually funny because it's actually on brand for us. My workmate is leaving to New York and he's having a leaving party tomorrow.
Okay.
And I have golf planned that I didn't want to use as an excuse. So I told him that me and you had plans otherwise so that I didn't have to go to his leaving party.
He's moving to New York.
I know.
And you're just going to golf instead?
Yeah.
Chris, that's so bad.
Well, I mean, but to be fair, I use you constantly as an excuse.
That's not to be fair. That's not to be fair.
Well, I mean, to be consistent, I do feel a little bit bad, but this is prepaid and it was a late invite. But I used.
How late was the invite from a moral standpoint?
So Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's only a couple of days' notice.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's fine.
But this is how men plan our lives.
I know, you're right.
We don't plan our lives weeks in advance. It's like a couple of days before.
And don't I know it? I suffer at the hands of of that calendar every week.
But no, I use you all the time as an excuse to get out things.
No,
I know,
and you actually have to stop doing that because the dynamic of when I do kind of cross paths with your friends. Yeah, this is the shrew that is like blowing up your phone. I'm literally never checking in.
But like, what better excuse is there when you're at the bars and like guys like, oh, do you want to go to the next place? And I'm like, fake a text. Oh, B wants to come pick me up, or B wants, to be at home. And it's like, oh, guys, priority, got to put the woman first.
I think that's actually 70% of people who have dogs do that. They do that with their dog.
Dog's a good one.
I know, because you can't do it.
You can't
with
use a cat,
cats.
can you? Well, we try.
We've tried, and it's like it barely works.
Doesn't solicit a very good response.
No one takes it seriously.
Yeah. Do you not ever use me as an excuse to not get out of things?
No.
Really? You've never
literally
done it?
never. Because people know that I run my own life. Oh, well, it's been an absolute joy to have you here.
It's been wonderful.
Mr. Chris.
It's been really fun, honestly.
Have you actually enjoyed it?
It's honestly been really fun. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I have.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did you like the talking? Do you like being with me? Which part do you like?
Oh, it's just everything, Beatrice.
Really?
Yeah, it was just a joy.
Oh my God, I'm really surprised. It's funny because you're one of the only guests that will not be in the creative realm in this season, and
sometimes you need a point of difference,
for sure. And I really want to do a Chris reveal. I mean, your name has dropped a lot, and we'll be back next week with a more appropriate guest.
Yeah, someone that people actually want to hear from. Yeah.
Hey, you be nice to my spouse. Be nice to my spouse.
Be nice to my spouse.
Gorgeous, sexy, hot, intellectual. Did I say sexy? Uggos. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Uncover Girl. Please rate and review the podcast. Any bad publicity is good publicity, but my ego is also fragile, so compliments would be much preferred. If you want to get deeper under the covers, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/uncovergirl for bonus episodes and content, or you can follow us at Uncover Girl Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. DM us your inspiration or anything at all. I just want to hear from you. We'll see you next Tuesday. Mwah!